Hey, y'all, what's up? I am back to do another review on a Sony Pictures animation movie. Sorry if I have not been uploading these weekly like I have been. Honestly, there's been a lot of commotion going on and all that. You know, my dad had surgery and all that. Keegan's been here. Keegan's my brother and all that, like my little brother. Honestly, I really do not like how he treats me and all that, and it's been making me frustrated and all that. And not to mention, summer. I swear I'm not gonna lie, summer is my least favorite season of the year. Just cause Keegan is here and all that more, and I gotta deal with this stuff and all that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say summer is awful. Like, I don't think it's a bad season. I don't really think any seasons are bad. Really, I think each season has some good things with it, but summer is definitely probably my least favorite, just because not just I gotta deal with Keegan more because he's off school, but also because it's really hot out. And all that. With cold, at least you can put on, a coat and all that and some gloves. The heat you can't really do anything with. And there's also a lot more pests to deal with bugs and all that, So yeah, summer is probably my least favorite season. Speaking of summer, I'm here to talk about Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation. Because, we've got another movie to the Hotel Transylvania series. So like open season, there are 4 movies to this franchise and all that. But unlike open season, I also think these movies are a lot better, too. At least so far, I've talked about the first 2. They're really good. With open season and its franchise, I thought it was just awful. Like, it just felt like a bunch of nothing, and it was frustrating. And I know I'm talking a lot about open season, and all that, but that's because that series was really bad, and I believe it's the only other, movie franchise with Sony, Pictures and all that to get 4 movies. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, you have the Ghostbuster movies and all that too that have had 4 movies, but those aren't part of the animation, side, so I'm not counting them. But I'm not counting them. I'll review them in the future, but they're not really part of that. So that's kind of why I'm comparing it to this. But I know people are probably sick of me talking about it, but I'm just giving an example because that's what it is. But yeah, basically though, we're now in the 3rd movie and all that. So how is this movie? How is Hotel Transylvania 3? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. So this movie apparently, I guess it starts off, I guess like the last movie, it starts off with a wedding and all that. So they have a wedding and all that. But this time it's not Mavis or anything. It's like these 2 monsters and all that. Or this monster, I think it's a monster and a human. I can't remember what it was. But basically, I do know that they start out the movie with that, so it starts off in a similar way and all that. But what happens is Mavis is concerned that Drac is overworking himself. But yeah, he's overworking himself and all. He needs a vacation, or he's not giving everybody else a vacation. So she has him, go on a cruise ship. But actually the whole reason why he's the only reason why he's actually upset is because he's lonely because his wife, died they brought it up in the first movie how she died and all that, so he's lonely and wants someone else. Of course, you can't say that to Mavis and all that, which I don't really know why. I don't know why they have this concept in these movies, but it's like Drac just can't just sit down and talk to his daughter. He has to hide it from her all the time. I don't get it. I mean, in this case, technically Drac, probably doesn't want to upset Mavis because she only had one mom and all that, so and all that, and having to have her replace, a replacement mom probably would be hard on her. I mean, she barely knew her mom as it is. So I can understand why it's so hard, I mean, that's kind of the thing though, it's like that with people who want to remarry too. Sometimes it's hard for them, if their soulmate dies and all that, it's really hard on them, to replace, the ones they love with someone else, because they can't ever replace it, That's the thing, though. And when you have kids, it's even harder, So I can kind of get it in this case. But yeah, I guess I forgot to. Technically, now that I'm thinking about it, technically the opening to this movie, I completely forgot about this. It doesn't actually immediately open up to the hotel and all that, and the monster and all that getting married. It actually starts off with this villain. I forgot what his name was. But he's hunting down the monsters and all that, and he's actually a pretty big threat and all that, but yeah, basically he's trying to keep his legacy and all that, and hunt down these monsters and all that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. We get a little backstory and all that. I guess this is before there's also the hotel and all that too. Just because I basically Drac brought that up and all that, So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. We got a villain in this movie and all that. So unlike the last movie, they actually reveal him early on in the movie. Now I will say what's really ironic about the villain though is I will say the villain is actually apparently he is old. He is super duper old and still alive. Apparently, he said he's been looking for this ray gun thing, or not ray gun, this weapon to defeat the monsters. He's been looking for it for 120 years, and that is after all that stuff happened before. So he was already probably in his 30s or 40s then, so that's freaking crazy. And I gotta say, he looks like Palpatine aged really well compared to him. He aged poorly. He traded all his body parts and all that. He just looks he looks like a machine. He doesn't even look like a great machine, I figured he would at least give him a better looking machine, but I guess not. But apparently, he has a granddaughter and all that too, and which I don't know. I mean, I'm how does he have a granddaughter too? It's or I guess technically it'd be his great granddaughter maybe. But even then, I'm that considered he's been searching for that weapon for 120 years, and he was probably already in his 30s. I don't know how that works. But I guess to be fair, I have heard people say there was a president, I think it was President Jackson and all that. How he had two living relatives and all that. But they were also older too. So old. So like having him have like a great granddaughter and she's like young. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but basically, yeah, the whole plot is he's tricking the monsters and all that on a cruise ship and all that, and but he's tricking it, and all that, and basically he's tricking them to basically go to this, like they're going on a vacation to a Bermuda Triangle and all that, which apparently turns out to be an arcade and all that too, but which is kind of cool. But he tricks the monsters and all that, and to go there just so he can get his hands on this, I guess, this music sheet thing or something. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird plan he's got there and all that. I would talk about the stuff before that, like after the backstory thing, but it really doesn't really. There's not really much to it. Basically, it's just Drac, wanting to find a girlfriend and all that, and I mean, I do have a moment where he sees where like they have Frankenstein's I guess cousin and all that, which is kind of funny, but she has like a big arm like him. But otherwise, yeah, there's really just nothing before that, and there's really nothing in this movie really to begin with. I feel like it's nice to see the monsters having some fun and all that, but there's just not really a lot to this movie. Really, there really isn't. It's basically, as Drac describes, it's basically it's Hotel Transylvania, but on a cruise ship is what it is. That's basically what it is. And that's kind of what this movie is. It's just basically it's the monsters from the hotel, but put them on a boat and just call it a day. And I mean, yeah, they do some fun stuff with it and all that, but I mean, it is nice to see him on a hotel. I mean, on a cruise ship and all that. And I do like Drac falling in love with this gal, but I feel like we have to have the gal and her great grandpa or learn their lessons and all that monsters aren't evil and all. Like, this is like the third time they've done this freaking message, and I just don't care about it anymore. I just don't. I think it does work better than the last movie, because last movie they basically made Mavis kind of an overprotective mom who criticized monsters for being too dangerous, which made no sense because she was a freaking monster and all that, and I, and in this movie they basically have these characters show up that come out of nowhere, but yeah, but there really isn't a lot to this movie. There really isn't. This movie is just all right. Like, so I know too. They also, they have I know they also have the they have basically well, in this movie too they have in this movie they have like I was talking about his villain plan and all that. Basically, his villain plan is to get a music sheet so he can play music and hypnotize this Kraken to basically kill them and all that. Which honestly, yeah, again, that's a stupid plan. Like, because he said it took 120 years to do so, but I'm like, you could have just you probably could have tamed a freaking Kraken like that if it took you that long. And he's supposed to be a like a scientist, inventor is what he's supposed to be. Like, he doesn't do a lot of inventing, but he clearly is an inventor, because even in the fourth movie, which I'll get to that one, he does invent some stuff. So I'm like, he spends 120 years trying to find a freaking music sheet to control a Kraken, when he could probably just easily have done that decades ago, or I guess more a century, like over a century ago, he could have freaking done that, and he would have been probably better off. But I don't know. Like, I mean, they do save him and all that, and all that. But yeah, this movie is just all right. Like, I gotta say, this movie, in my opinion, definitely is just nah, in 60 points for sure. Yeah, this movie is definitely very black in the middle. Like, you're probably wondering why it's not a bad movie, though. Well, I mean, despite me seeing this once again, I mean, this is like the third franchise in a row. Like, well, not in a row, but third franchise where we have to have the main character, fall in love with a person. I still do like the romance in it and all that, and although it's not as good as Despicable Me 2's with Lucy and all that, I still think they convinced, they're very good at convincing you that they make a good couple. I mean, I don't know if I brought that up like in Despicable Me 2 movie, but I know Ice Age kind of failed at this poorly. Well, I guess to be fair, technically I really didn't watch Ice Age 2 yet, watching that movie. So, I watched that movie tons of times before I reviewed that movie because, I grew up watching it. But I didn't, I don't know if I don't know if I pointed that out in that movie or not. But, yeah, basically, they have, they kind of make Ellie kind of annoying, person and all that. And make her kind of toxic and all that towards Manny in a way and all that. And I feel like it just didn't work in that movie. They fixed it in the third movie, but yeah, I felt like them kind of making them love each other. I didn't feel like it was very well, executed in that movie. But in this movie and Despicable Me 2, I think they did a really good job. But Despicable Me 2, I definitely think was a lot better with this. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this movie is just all right. Definitely so far the weakest of the three. I think the second one's probably better, but we'll have to see how good that the last one is. Good, bad, meh, when I get to the last one, I'll be talking about that. But that's going to be a little while because I still got to talk about the other movies. But, yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this movie. I really don't. I'm sorry, I just don't really have a lot to say about it. I mean, I'm glad that at least Mel Brooks comes back to play Drax's dad. That's pretty nice. Even though he also gets, sidelined too, But yeah, I don't know. I just think this movie is just all right. There's not really a lot to it, and I can understand why some people might not like this movie, but I think it's okay. I think it's all right. I think it's not bad. I mean, there's some things I do like about it. I also didn't mention the whole fish people. Basically they actually have human feet, but they're actually fish. They have fishes as bodies and all that. It's pretty funny, but yeah, there just really isn't a lot to this movie that I really care about and all that. But I still think this movie's still all right. I don't think it's bad, and I do, like I said, I do like the romance and all that. And I think they do build it up pretty well and all that. But yeah, I probably wouldn't watch this movie again probably anytime soon. But let's go ahead and talk about the comment question. Yes, we've got ourselves a comment question. So we got a comment question here. So in today's comment question, I was going to ask you guys, if you have ever been on a trip to a cruise, what did you guys think of it and where did you go? So if you guys have been on if you haven't been on a cruise ship, then that's fine. But if you guys actually been on one, let me know. I don't think I've ever been on a cruise ship before. I have been on the Mark Twain boat at one point, but I've never been on a cruise ship because they cost a lot of money. Like, you would need a lot of money to actually go on one. But I have been on the Mark Twain riverboat, and that was fun. We took a field trip there and all that. Got to buy some candy and a soda. That was pretty nice. It was very crowded, but very nice. But yeah, let me know what your guys' what your guys' experience was of a cruise ship and all that, because I'm very curious. And I definitely would like to know if you've been to any or if you guys want to go to any in the future. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and let things go for now. See you all later. Have a wonderful day and see you next time. And I'm going to try to work on making some more comment questions. I've been just so busy with some stuff and all that, and trying to think of a comment question for every movie is kind of hard, but I probably could have thought of some the last couple of times I've done these reviews, but it's just kind of hard to do that. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here. See you all next time. Bye-bye.